She found the text message at 11:47 p.m. on a Tuesday. Her husband was in the shower. His phone lit up on the nightstand, and the message was not from a woman. It was from his accountant. It read, quote, "The second set of books is ready. Make sure she never sees these." End quote. Now, most people would have screamed, confronted him, thrown the phone against the wall. But Elena didn't do any of that. She picked up the phone, she read every message in that thread, all 219 of them. And then, she placed the phone back on the nightstand, exactly where it was. Same angle, same position. Her husband walked out of the shower, kissed her forehead, and said goodnight. He had no idea that his life, as he knew it, had just ended. But Elena was not going to strike yet. Not even close. She was going to wait. She was going to plan. And when the time came, she was going to take everything. Now, to understand what happened next, you need to understand who Marcus Whitfield was. On paper, he was a self-made success story. A real estate developer who had built a $200 million empire across 3 states. Luxury condos, commercial towers, a private jet, 2 yachts. They called him the Golden Boy of Chicago real estate. They put him on magazine covers. They invited him to governors' dinners. But behind every satisfying smile and every firm handshake, Marcus Whitfield was hiding something. Something that would destroy him. See, those 219 text messages told a story that no magazine ever printed. Marcus had been running 2 sets of financial books for over a decade. One set for the IRS, one set for himself. He had been funneling millions through shell companies in Delaware and the Cayman Islands. He had inflated property values to secure bank loans he never intended to repay honestly. He had cheated investors, deceived lenders, and committed fraud on a scale that would make a federal prosecutor's jaw drop. And his wife of 14 years? He had hidden every single dollar from her. But Elena was not a fool. She had a degree in forensic accounting. She had put her career on hold to raise their 3 children. She had trusted him completely. And that was his biggest mistake. Because the thing about a forensic accountant is this: they don't just find money, they find where money hides. For the next 22 months, Elena said nothing. She smiled at dinner parties. She kissed him goodbye every morning. She played the role of the loving, oblivious wife. But every night, after Marcus fell asleep, she worked. She created copies of every document in his home office. Bank statements, wire transfers, corporate filings. She built a spreadsheet with 437 entries. Every shell company, every offshore account, every fraudulent transaction, every lie, cataloged and time-stamped. And then she contacted 3 people. The first was a divorce attorney specializing in forensic asset recovery. Not just any attorney, the most expensive one in Illinois. The second was a forensic digital analyst who cloned Marcus's phone and laptop without him ever knowing. And the third? The third was a reporter at the Wall Street Journal. Now here is where the story gets dark. In month 14 of her investigation, Elena discovered something she was not prepared for. Marcus didn't just have hidden money. He had a hidden family. A woman in Miami. 2 children, ages 4 and 7. A house he had purchased under a shell company called Coastal Living LLC. Elena found photos on the cloned phone. Birthday parties, beach trips, Christmas morning. A complete second life, running in parallel to hers, funded entirely by stolen money. She told investigators later that she sat in her car for 3 hours after finding the photos. She didn't cry. She said she just went quiet inside. And then she went back to work. Because Elena didn't want revenge. Revenge is emotional. Revenge is sloppy. Elena wanted justice. And justice takes patience. Morning of March 7th, exactly 22 months after finding that first text message, Elena executed her plan. At 8 a.m., the Wall Street Journal published a front-page investigation into Marcus Whitfield's financial empire. The article detailed the dual bookkeeping, the shell companies, the fraudulent loans. Every fact sourced from documents Elena had provided. At 9 a.m., Marcus's phone began ringing. Investors, partners, board members, all demanding answers. He couldn't answer, because at that exact moment, he was served divorce papers at his office, in front of his entire executive team. The papers didn't just request divorce. They included a 112-page forensic accounting report. Every hidden asset, every offshore account, every dollar he had concealed. By noon, 2 of his largest investors had filed lawsuits. By 3 p.m., his bank froze his credit lines. By 5 p.m., the FBI had opened an investigation. And by the end of that week, Marcus Whitfield's $200 million empire was worth nothing. The company filed for bankruptcy within 60 days. Marcus was indicted on 14 counts of wire fraud, bank fraud, and tax evasion. He was sentenced to 11 years in federal prison. And Elena? The court awarded her the legitimate assets, the family home, the retirement accounts, the children's trust funds. She went back to work as a forensic accountant. She now consults for law firms representing women in high-asset divorce cases. She said one thing in her only interview that I will never forget. Quote, "He thought I was the woman who packed his lunch. I was the woman who packed his bags." End quote. Here is what makes this story stay with me. Marcus had $200 million. He had lawyers, accountants, and corporate structures designed to hide every secret. But he left his phone on the nightstand. One text, one moment of carelessness. That's all it took. Because the truth always surfaces. The only question is whether you're ready when it does. If this story kept you watching until the end, subscribe to Buried Truth, because tomorrow's story is even darker.